How's it going, everybody? And welcome to Just Nobody's Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm your host, Daniel.
And today we're doing a podcast. Woo! If you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button and hit the like button. Also, hit this video. If this video gets 1,000 likes, we'll be giving away one of these hot toys to one of you guys. So make sure you guys comment what you guys want us to talk about next week. As you can see throughout this video, we took your guys' suggestions from last week, and we're going to talk about it right now on this week's podcast.
Yo.
Without further ado, let's get into the podcast.
Some movie news. TV news, I guess.
Okay.
Show news. Stranger Things has started filming.
Wow.
Finally, they have started.
So the actor strike happened, and then all the kids started aging really fast.
Yep.
And they probably had to rewrite the story to a certain extent. Because they're a lot older
They are
than
a lot
last
older.
season.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this, right? Because it's been like 2 or 3 years since they filmed the last season.
Yeah. Has it been that long?
Yeah, because I think it was like during COVID, right? They filmed and then they released it.
And then it released, yeah.
Then the strike.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And they even said, remember right when the last season came out, they said, oh, it's going to be a while till we release the next one.
Yeah.
And then it got postponed even more because of the strike.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, but it's gonna be good, I think. I think it's gonna be good. I just don't know how they're gonna really tie in the whole aging thing.
Yeah. Because time has passed.
Time has passed a lot.
I do wonder, though, if they can really keep this momentum and, you know, have the story finish in a way that's really satisfying for us as viewers.
Gosh, when did this show debut? It's been a while. I think I was in either my first years of college or my last years of high school.
Because if I remember correctly, Leia and I have been dating for 6 years, right? And Leia and I, one of our first dates was we watched Stranger Things season 2 or 3.
Wow. Okay,
season 2.
It's definitely when I was in high school.
Yeah, so season 2, I watched it with Leia. So that was 6 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So it's been a long journey for these kids.
A long time. And now it's coming to an end. So they have to do it justice.
I know.
Jeez. But another show that has some big news. Okay, so apparently writing has started for a new Office series.
Is that true?
Yeah, so apparently the new story is going to be a whole new Office.
Okay.
Whole new characters, but it's going to be in the same universe as Dunder Mifflin.
So it's not Dunder Mifflin, though.
It's not Dunder Mifflin. It's going to be a completely new Office, completely new characters.
Wow.
Right? But it's going to be in the same universe as Dunder Mifflin. So I really don't know. I feel like they can't really go the Michael Scott as a boss type of direction. Because that's basically just like the same thing in a different office.
I do think the concept of an office space
where
people work together, you see different dynamics.
Right.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I think it would, I don't know how they're going to do it, but say they don't do Dunder Mifflin, but I feel like it has to be a branch of, like, say it's not Dunder Mifflin office, like, space.
Yeah.
It's more like warehouse.
Oh.
Like the warehouse, what goes on there, you know?
Yeah, because I guess we didn't really see much of the warehouse in the office. Like, we got it, right?
Yeah.
But if it's based on, like, the warehouse, that'd be kind of cool.
See, I thought some of the original characters were rumored to be coming back.
That's why I think they say it's in the same universe, because I think there's going to be appearances.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I think it might take place in another office, but with original characters. Some.
It could. It definitely could.
Because I thought I saw, you know, you see these things on like Instagram, and you don't know if it's real or not, but I saw some people say that like the original creator of The Office is planning to make a new office, but with some of the original cast.
Oh. See, that would be the smart way to go.
Yeah,
because it kind of keeps that same dynamic, keeps the same story intertwined with the new
I don't know
story.
if I would want to see an office show that's not The Office.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was in the same universe as Dunder Mifflin, what does that even look like?
Right.
Like, an office? We're not going to talk about Dunder Mifflin, but, you know, it is kind of weird.
It's got to have some original characters.
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, I want to talk about the Golden Globes. Now, there's been some crazy moments at the Golden Globes this year. You know, a lot of people were not happy with Joe Coy's hosting. I'm not going to make any comments on that regarding that part, but I want to talk about the Golden Globes. And speaking of The Office, now, I saw a psychologist on TikTok. Now, it's already off to a horrible start, me saying that. But, okay, so I saw a psychologist on TikTok, and basically, she was able to analyze John Krasinski and Emily Blunt's relationship on the red carpet. And what she saw was that John Krasinski said to Emily Blunt, "I can't wait for our divorce, and I'm serious."
What?
You see him on the red carpet kind of, you know, mouthing these words.
Yeah.
But then when you look closely, from my understanding, he is saying to her, "I can't wait to get through this. I'm serious."
Oh.
Because it was so cold. As you guys know, for everyone that lives in LA right now, it is freezing outside for us. And the Golden Globes was happening around like 2 or 3 p.m. and it's windy and it's cold. And I think that's why he's saying, you know, I can't wait to get through this, because they're on they're on the red carpet doing paparazzi photos and headshots and all that. And that makes more sense that he wants to get through it.
Yeah.
And he's serious.
I really don't think he would say that in public where he knows cameras are all around and there's professional lip readers out there that could figure it out.
And apparently two people were analyzing like Emily Blunt's like neck was like really tense. And he kind of had like a grimace on his face. And I don't agree with the psychologist, but it was interesting at first when she was pointing out all this stuff. I was like, oh, wow, maybe something did happen.
Yeah.
But then when I researched it more, I was like, oh, I don't think anything happened. But it's crazy how the internet ran with this scenario of John Krasinski saying that he wants to get a divorce on the red carpet.
That's just crazy. I mean, tensing up your neck could be like just you being cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah.
Another crazy Golden Globes moment was we see Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez, and they're talking. All of a sudden, they're like whispering each other's ears, and there's like a big gasp, and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it turns out, okay, allegedly, so as we know, Kylie Jenner is dating Timothée Chalamet.
Yes.
They made it very obvious at Beyonce's concert, and also they made it very obvious at the Golden Globes. Now, apparently, so back in 2019 or 2020, Timothée Chalamet did a movie with Selena Gomez where they played each other's love interests.
Yeah.
Now, Kylie Jenner apparently at the Golden Globes was sitting at a table with Timothée Chalamet, and all of a sudden Selena Gomez came up to him and asked for a photo, like, hey, like, can we get a photo, Timothy? It's like been a long time. And Kylie Jenner said, no, like, we're not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
And apparently the reason behind it is that Kylie Jenner really wants to claim Timothée Chalamet as hers. And she doesn't want any rumors getting out there that, oh, Selena Gomez was with Timothée Chalamet. She really wants to have no miscommunication or any kind of misinterpretation of photos.
Wow.
So she told Selena Gomez no.
That's kind of crazy.
It is
just
a little weird.
Photo.
I mean, yeah, he's going to be taking photos all night.
Right.
It's a public event. It's, one of the biggest events in entertainment.
Yeah.
And he was nominated, and I think it's just such a big night for him. And for her to say no to Selena Gomez, that whole story kind of like trumps the whole night for him, because like he was nominated for Wonka, and it kind of stole the moment from him being nominated to now it's the whole talk is, oh, Timothée Chalamet, couldn't take a picture with Selena Gomez.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate.
But on the lighter news with the Golden Globes, Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor, and we did call that he would win Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars. Now, we look back last year, right? He won the Golden Globes, Best Supporting Actor. He won the Oscar. Now, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm pretty sure it's a shoo-in that Robert Downey Jr. should win the Oscar too.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he won the Golden Globe. He played such a big supporting actor role.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be him.
And it's so interesting for everyone who doesn't know. The Golden Globes in the history of cinema. Okay, now the Golden Globes and the Oscars, obviously the Oscars has been going on longer than the Golden Globes, but for the last 20 years or so, the Golden Globes has always predicted the winner of Best Picture. And the only time it didn't, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I don't know exactly. I'm kind of just going off of memory here. So like 20 years ago, there was a movie, this 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and they won the Golden Globe for Best Picture.
Yeah.
But when it came to the Oscars, they lost.
Oh, and that was the first time they didn't win both.
I think so.
Wow.
So for the most part, the Golden Globes predicts the Oscars.
Interesting.
But I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if I screwed that up. But I think that's right.
But when you think about it, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Right, that it would be pretty close in comparison.
Yeah, but I do think last year, I could be wrong about this. If I remember correctly, Angela Bassett won the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. But at the Oscars, Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
So it is, sometimes it is a coin flip, but I think pretty confidently Robert Downey Jr. should win.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's so funny. I saw this tweet where MrBeast was talking about how people were saying like, oh, you should post your videos on Twitter. And MrBeast is like, oh, like until they figure out how to monetize things better, I won't.
Interesting.
And then Elon Musk tweeted back and said like, yeah, post on here. But what MrBeast was saying is like it costs millions of dollars to make his videos, and even if he got 1 billion views on Twitter, it wouldn't cover the cost. Like it wouldn't make sense.
Oh yeah, okay.
So after this, Elon Musk took it seriously and apparently is pledging that he is going to make sure that the creator economy for Twitter is going to be better.
Oh.
So you can start monetizing on Twitter.
Okay, well that's good.
And apparently the stats show that 80,000 Twitter creators are getting paid since last year. So I don't know how they're structuring it, but obviously it's not high enough for MrBeast to want to hop over to Twitter.
I mean, Gosh, he makes so much money.
He does. I mean, when you look at it too, like MrBeast is famous now for declining $1 billion for his company.
Yeah.
So I mean, he technically is worth $1 billion.
Right. Probably more.
Yeah.
With
probably more.
everything that he has. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, it is amazing what that guy can do and just the power he has. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah, it is kind of scary.
So I want to talk to you kind of about like last week we talked about like one piece of advice that you have for someone.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Tell me a time where someone gave you advice and it was just so wrong. Like just so like
So wrong.
so wrong and you're like you sat there and you're like I just can't believe this person just told me that.
Whoa. When was a time that someone just told me something completely
Well,
wrong?
it's like the worst advice. Like, you know, like, we all have that one friend that always says the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Just if you could think of a time where it was like that.
Oh, you know what? This was probably a good one. When I was probably like going through a breakup,
Yeah.
my friend was just like, "If you miss her so much, why don't you just text her?"
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's
Hey, once the door is closed, bro, you gotta seal that door shut.
Yeah. I think he just felt bad for me.
So he just said, just give her a text.
Yeah, just text her. It's like, but bro, that's not how it works.
No, it doesn't.
Thank goodness I didn't listen though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's some of the worst advice I've gotten.
It's kind of like, you know, like when someone's like struggling and they're like, oh gosh, like I just want to text them so bad. And you're just like so annoyed with them, like saying like, oh, I shouldn't text them. I want to text them. And you're just like, just do it.
Yeah.
But that's not a good friend.
That's not. You got to stay strong. You got to stay strong for them.
Yes.
You have to be that support.
This is so random, but a friend of mine told me a story about how he got hypnotized. And
What?
yeah, he got hypnotized.
Okay, we have to talk about this. Is hypnotism real?
Well, apparently he claims that it is real.
Okay.
And my friend, I don't want to show the video,
Yeah.
but I'll explain the video.
Okay.
So my friend had a grad night, okay? His graduation night. And for the most part, in schools in California that live in the LA area, when they have grad night, they go to Disneyland.
Or like a theme park.
Yeah, Knott's Berry Farm, or they rent out, you know, K1 Speed, or they do
Right.
something cool.
Yeah.
And this specific year, on grad night for him, they had a hypnotist come.
Oh.
And apparently the hypnotist was able to hypnotize a group of 10 students.
What?
Yeah, at the same time. And then made them feel like they're sleeping, made them feel like do a bunch of different things.
What
But the
the
one
heck?
thing that really shocked me, and it's on video, and maybe if I get the okay from him, I'll put it on the podcast.
Okay.
But basically the hypnotist said to my friend, like, pretend you're like giving birth.
Shut up.
But he didn't say pretend, he said you are giving birth. And my friend is just like, ah!
No way.
Yeah, and he's
He
like,
did it.
He's like freaking out. He's like on the chair, like, oh my gosh. And the worst part about this whole thing, okay, and I don't know how the school okayed this,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure we have a female friend that was delivering the baby, right?
Yeah.
But keep in mind, right, when you're delivering the baby, you're by my friend's private area
Right.
trying to deliver this baby.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, this girl is trying to deliver this baby, this fake baby out of this guy.
Yeah.
Like reaching down there, trying to pull out this baby.
What are they doing?
I'm just like, okay, how is that okay? This girl's like touching down there, thinking she's looking for a baby.
Oh my god.
Isn't that really weird to think
So the
about?
girl was hypnotized too?
The girl was hypnotized too.
Oh my
Her
gosh.
job was to help deliver
Like,
the baby.
She's the doctor.
And my friend's just like, oh, you know?
Oh my gosh. Dude, there's no way.
Okay, if I get
Oh
the
my
okay, I'll
God.
put the video in right now, but
Oh my gosh.
isn't that crazy?
That is so insane.
That is so funny. I every time I watch the video, I am dying laughing. I die inside. Just the thought of it's making me cry. But yeah, just imagine this girl reaching down there trying to retrieve this baby that obviously is not real.
What the heck?
So I don't know how they do it. I don't know how
Yeah.
these hypnotists do it, but obviously, you know, they're able to get them to be under this spell.
So does he remember doing any of that?
So I asked him that. I said, "Do you remember like what you did?"
Yeah.
Now, he claims that he only remembers some parts that night, but he says
What?
that majority of the people that was hypnotized absolutely do not remember anything that happened that night.
Dude, that is freaky.
He asked them like, "Hey, do you remember what happened?" And they have
Yeah.
no idea.
What?
They all have to watch back this YouTube video of them all being hypnotized to remember what happened.
Oh, that like gives me like the chills.
Yeah.
It's weird that he doesn't even remember. Like he doesn't remember everything.
No, he doesn't.
That's so crazy. I never even want to try. I never even want to try it.
See, my whole thing is if a hypnotist is able to convince you of something,
Yeah.
right? Like if something as crazy as you're giving birth.
Right.
Now, if he doesn't snap you out of it and say like, oh, all done.
Yeah.
Get back to normal. You're stuck in this thing.
Yeah.
This mental hallucination.
Exactly. So then they just have like this kind of control over you.
Right. That's why it's like so freaky to think about how someone can actually do that to another person.
Yeah.
Snap a finger and make them believe something, and then snap a finger again, and then like back to normal.
Yeah, because what if someone else starts snapping? Are you still in like the mode where like if I hear a snap, then I'm gonna do this?
I would love to just like watch how they learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that that doesn't happen to me.
Right. What if someone is like able to subtly hypnotize someone without them knowing? That could happen.
I think Dad was telling me a story that one time he was at a bar and this hypnotist was there and he was trying to hypnotize people at the bar.
Yeah.
And he went up to Dad and said, "Are you Japanese?" And Dad's like, "Yeah."
What?
He goes, "Oh, 100% of the time I'm able to hypnotize Japanese people."
What?
And Dad's like, "What?" And he goes, "I'm going to hypnotize you." And Dad's like, "Sure, go ahead, try."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, the seat is getting hot. It's getting super hot."
What?
And Dad like touches the seat. He's like, "No, it's like pretty cold to me."
What
And the guy
heck?
just kept trying, and Dad said it didn't affect him at all.
Oh, so it seems like it only works on certain people.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You can't be skeptical of what's going on.
I think that's what it is. If you're skeptical,
Yeah.
that, hey, I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah.
It won't work. But if you're going there
Oh.
like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get hypnotized. Like, I want it. Like, give it to me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's when it's different.
Ah, so you have to be like open to it.
Yeah, you got to be willing to accept it.
That's just so freaky though. I'm not even gonna try. Even though I would be skeptical of it,
Yeah.
and I don't think it would work on me, I don't even want to try.
No, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I'll show you the video. Just my friend giving birth. It's crazy.
I want to ask you, what's the worst advice you've gotten from your friend?
The worst advice I've ever gotten. Okay.
Or not even from a friend, from like anyone. Worst advice ever.
Worst advice ever. See, that's a hard question
okay, maybe
to
not
answer.
ever. Yeah.
But I'll give you time when maybe I received bad advice. I think it's when I'll tell you guys a story.
Oh,
This
we
is
love the story
This
times.
is crazy. Oh my gosh, can't believe I'm going to share this. So back in the 7th grade,
Whoa.
7th grade, I was sitting in the back row of my class.
Okay.
It was English class. We had a substitute that day. And, maybe I wasn't hanging around the best kids in the class. Like, obviously, they were troublemakers, and
Yeah.
I was just sitting there, like, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So we're doing group work. So, like, how they had, it was like a row of desks,
Yeah.
but they're 2-seater desks. So you're like,
Yeah.
they're combined. So you have a total of like 6 people in one row, joint like these 2 desks
Right.
each, right?
Right.
And I had a seat partner, and we were working on a group assignment, just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
And the other guys were supposed to be working on theirs. And all of a sudden, I look up and I see this guy sitting to my right, and he throws the eraser. You got one of those erasers?
Like pink eraser?
No, it's like this white eraser.
Okay.
It's the same
like,
thing.
Yeah, like the big ones.
So he throws it and he ducks, right?
Okay.
And I'm just watching this eraser fly in the air. And I'm like, holy smokes, this kid threw it hard.
Yeah.
And I see that the substitute teacher is writing on the board the agenda for the day, right?
Yeah.
And this eraser is just going right at him like a bullet, like a freaking
Oh, no.
bullet. And the guy had a bald spot on the back of his head.
No.
And I'm serious, Daniel. It
Bullseye.
looked like Katniss Everdeen shot an arrow at a bullseye. And that eraser hits the back of the head, and the whole room just stopped. I still get chills in my hands.
Yeah.
The guy turns around. He yells, "Who did that? Who did that?" Right? And I'm just like, what? And then this is my friend under the desk. I shouldn't say he's my friend. I don't know where he's at now.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's like, bro. And this is when I knew it was serious. When he goes, the substitute teacher goes, "That is assault and battery.
Whoa.
Someone come forward right now. I'm calling security. This is so wrong. Out of all my 20 years of teaching, I have never been assaulted like this. This is horrible." And I was like, dude, this guy is flustered. Like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
bad. And they call security. And at the time, remember Kathy, our security guard?
Yeah.
She's like 80
Oh my
years old.
gosh, yeah.
So Kathy walks in, she's on the older side. He goes like, "What's wrong?" And then he just goes, "Someone threw this eraser at me. Someone threw it.
Uh-huh.
Someone come forward right now." And I don't remember how this goes down exactly, but
yeah.
somehow our whole back row gets called into the counselor's office, right?
Oh no.
So somehow the substitute teacher was able to narrow it down to our group,
Yeah.
our row.
Row. Yeah.
So we're all sitting there in the counselor's office, and there's 6 of us, and she's just like, hey, this could take all day, but I'll let you guys decide who wants to come forward and confess.
Oh my gosh.
And at the time in 7th grade, no one wants to be a snitch.
Right.
No one wants to be the guy to be like, oh, it was him,
Yeah.
And I just remember sitting there, and I'm just like, dude, like, I hope he does the right thing and just goes forward.
Right.
Because otherwise we're going to all be punished.
Yeah.
And I honestly remember sitting there for like an hour. I just finally just looked at the guys like, dude, are you going to like go up? And he goes, he gets up, he's like, I did it. And then what's so sad is I had a pretty good relationship with my 7th grade English teacher.
Yeah.
He was like a really cool guy. And then the next day he walks in and he goes, I'm very disappointed in some people in this room. And I'm just like, oh. And he goes, I can't believe they couldn't come forward and say the truth. And I'm just like, dude.
Wait, someone did come forward though, right?
Yeah, but it took an hour.
Right, yeah, okay, yeah.
And keep in mind, in 7th grade, like, there were fights. Like,
right.
People got punched in the face. Like, we had our share of, like, scuffles.
Yeah.
And I just knew that I didn't want to have to fight, right? I knew that if I said something,
you
better be ready. Someone might try to beat you up,
yeah.
and you better be ready to fight back.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't want to do that. So I was hoping that, the kid would come forward himself without us having to snitch. But I just looked at it. I was like, dude, are you going to go up?
Dude, that's so funny.
So it's not the worst advice, but it was a time of, I don't know how this applies to your question, but I just know that was one of the worst moments in my life where I was like, that was really stressful.
You were in a sticky situation.
I was in a sticky situation. And I think the part about bad advice is that, you should always just come forward and say the truth. Instead of everyone trying to hold out and be like, oh, we're not going to say it,
Yeah.
In the big scheme of things, that was like 15 years ago.
Right.
Whatever it was. And I look back now and I'm just like kind of disappointed that I didn't stand up for the right thing or didn't say it fast enough.
Yeah.
That's why I just know this. If you're in the situation like that, just do the right thing and stand up for what's right.
Yeah, just say the truth.
Okay, so moving on. I know last week I talked about Robert Downey Jr., how much money he's made. And the week before that, I think I talked about Jenna Ortega and Zendaya.
Yes.
And it's amazing how there is a huge discrepancy between male actors and female actors, which is horrible. But there are some actresses that are pushing the barrier, that are making more money than most male actors.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money Jennifer Lawrence has made throughout her entire acting career?
No.
So for the first Hunger Games movie, she made $500,000. For Catching Fire, she made $10 million. But for Mockingjay Part 1, she made $20 million. And then Mockingjay Part 2, she made another $20 million. For the movie The Passengers with Chris Pratt, she made $20 million. For the movie Red Sparrow, she made $20 million. For the movie Don't Look Up, she made $25 million. And when she played Mystique in the X-Men franchise, in X-Men First Class, she made $250,000. For Days of Future Past, she made $6 million. For Apocalypse, she made $8 million. And for The Dark Phoenix, she made $4.7 million. For the movie No Hard Feelings, she made $20 million. For the movie Joy, she made $15 million. So like with all her movies combined, I know I didn't name all of them, but she made roughly $160 million. And that is not including collaborations she has like with Dior or any partnerships.
Dude, what are the fees on that?
So for manager, agent, lawyer, publicist, state and federal income tax, she made roughly $60 million after all the fees. So she lost about $100 million.
$60 million, still a lot of money.
No, $60 million is a crazy amount of money. And it's crazy when you look at Robert Downey Jr., right? He made, we were talking like $500 million.
Yeah.
After the fees, he made like 300 million.
It's crazy.
It is crazy because I think a lot of people forget that, yes, federal income tax for higher income people is roughly like 37%, but I believe state income tax is like 13%. So there you go. That's your 50 right there. And majority of these actors live in California, where it is that 13 to 15% state income tax.
It is pretty crazy though, the manager and like publicist agent fees. Those are a lot too.
And for people who don't know, like a manager fee, like I would say across the board, it's like 10%. An agent fee is another 10%. A lawyer usually takes about 5% of every deal they work on. So right there alone is 25% on the low end. And then the average publicist, I mean, it depends, but like let's just say a decent publicist is probably $8,000 to $10,000 a month. So you're looking at $100,000 roughly a year.
Oh my god.
So it is unbelievable how much the fees and what these actors end up taking home.
Yeah.
So do you know times in movies where actors weren't actually acting, but it was 100% real?
No.
So in the movie Jaws, when the first girl's in the water and she's about to be attacked, the movie crew did not tell the actress that they actually built a machine under the water that was going to grab her legs and pull her under the water. So when you see the actress struggling and being pulled into the water as if a shark was pulling her, the actress is freaking out because it's 100% real. She had no idea that was going to happen.
Bro, that's kind of messed up.
And then in Spider-Man Homecoming, when Peter Parker and Tony Stark are sitting in the limo together, and all of a sudden Tom Holland gives Tony Stark a hug, Robert Downey Jr. proceeds to open up the door and says like, oh, we're not close like that yet. And that scene was entirely improvised. And what Robert Downey Jr. said afterwards was 100% improvised too. So that whole scene was not in the script. So in the movie Now You See Me, you see Isla Fisher put into this tank of water and she's chained up. And you start to see her struggling and she can't undo the shackles because it's 100% real. So Isla Fisher was actually drowning because she couldn't undo the handcuffs. And it wasn't until a stunt coordinator nearby noticed that she was struggling and this was going on for way too long. But the entire cast thought she was just acting really well. So when the stunt coordinator was running over to try to help her, she barely managed to get out of the handcuffs and the scene was able to continue. But all the struggle she was going through was 100% real.
So they used that take in the movie.
Yeah, and also in the Fast and the Furious movies, when Tyrese Gibson's character sees The Rock, he yells at Mia and says, hey Mia, you better hide your baby oil. And then The Rock yells at Tyrese Gibson, you better hide your big forehead. And then you see Ludacris literally spit out his drink because it wasn't in the script that he was going to say that. And the entire cast was laughing.
It's pretty crazy to see how many scenes are actually just improvised.
It is pretty amazing how talented these actors are to come up with these iconic moments in movies just on the fly. I mean, these movies usually have writers and producers and directors, right, that oversee the script. Like some of the best moments in movies are just a spontaneous moment.
Yeah, that Isla Fisher one though is crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that was I don't know what to make of that.
I mean, that's just dangerous at that point.
Okay, so do you know why this guy collapsed on national TV?
No, what happened to him?
So back in 1985, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan went onto this talk show called Hot Properties hosted by Richard Belzar. And the show was going great until Richard used the word that Mr. T didn't know. And all of a sudden, the whole interview took a turn for the worse. So you got to watch this clip.
Isn't that antithetical to your image, all that violence?
Well, you use a big word. See, Mr. T.
Antithetical means opposite. Forgive me.
Right. I'm a street brother. That's why the kids.
Well, I'm from the street too.
That's why the kids.
I learned that word myself.
The kids
not in
relate to
college.
me because I'm not a phony.
I'm
a
not
lot
a
of
phony
guys
either.
try to use big words and whatnot. I use this and that, whatnot, in plain, simple English.
Okay.
So everybody can understand me.
Right.
That even the fool can understand me. The winos, the junkies. I go down. I go to Harlem. I go where the brothers
so
hang out on the street.
it started getting a little
things like
nasty.
that.
Okay.
I
This
don't
is
isolate
intense.
myself.
So later in the show, Hulk Hogan comes onto the stage and joins the interview, but he comes out really aggressive because he's really upset at Richard for offending Mr. T. So what Hulk Hogan suggested was that he shows Richard Belzar some like maneuvers he would do in professional wrestling. And it was supposed to be just simple maneuvers that like anybody can do.
Need to know about amateur wrestling. Yes. Or professional wrestling or submission holds. You just tell me, brother, when you want him to quit squealing, okay?
Look how big Hulk Hogan is compared to Richard Belzar.
Sherlock.
Oh
How
no.
about it, T?
So you see him put his arms out.
Yeah.
And Mr. T says keep him like that for a little bit.
He's out.
Boom, he's out.
Right.
He's
just
done.
sleeping.
He's done.
He's sleeping. Really? That's,
Oh
that
my
was a sleep call.
gosh.
He'll be all right.
This is on
He's
national
waking up now.
TV.
That was a serious
Live.
A lot of people.
So
See? It works.
He doesn't know where he is.
he has no idea. And Richard Belzar actually said that he had no idea where he was at this point.
You know who? You hear the right back.
Oh my gosh.
So all he knew what to do was go to commercial break, but he had no idea what was happening. He was literally unconscious for 11 seconds.
That is crazy. He was out.
So after the commercial break, he had to get medical attention because he actually split open his head. So another person came onto the show and had Hulk Hogan do a public apology, and this is what he had to say.
Hulk didn't mean to do it. These things happen in television. It is live television. And now I think Hulk and T should just talk about this kind of thing, how it can happen, and how to avoid it.
Everyone was shocked. They didn't know what to do.
I feel really bad about the situation. Richard asked me to demonstrate a professional wrestling hold, and that's exactly what I did. I put what is called a front chin lock on the man, and when I released him, he fell and hit his head on the floor. It's a situation where...
But keep in mind,
you need
Hulk
to be a
Hogan is
professional at
like
all times,
300 pounds.
and the
Yeah.
time
Richard
when I
Belzar is
put
like
that
100.
on
This guy's a
my
giant.
professional
Yeah.
wrestler, I would apply probably 10 times as much pressure. I didn't realize that apparently he doesn't do any physical training at all. You know, I'm not sure.
See, it's crazy that he's literally saying that what he did requires like professional counterpart. And obviously Richard
Oh.
Belzar is not
Right.
professional. So Hulk Hogan should have known better.
That is crazy.
So because of this whole thing, Hulk Hogan was sued $400,000 for what he did to Richard Belzer. It was really wrong what he did to him. Like, he could have killed him.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That's why you should never mess with someone in combat sports, because they are equipped with deadly weapons.
But see, like, he even said he would apply 10 times the force he applied to Richard.
No, and that's where I don't believe him. I think that he was kind of like upset at Richard Belzer.
So he kind of he applied more.
You have to be kind of aware of what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a trained professional,
Right.
you should also kind of be aware of what force you're doing.
Yeah. To the person you're doing it to.
Yeah, it's easy to say after the fact the guy's knocked out unconscious. Oh,
And he split his head open.
barely did anything.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
Hopefully the podcast continues on a lighter note than all this tragedy.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to do another AI movie casting.
Okay. I mean, for the most part, it seems like these things have been pretty right on. So let's see what the computer got this time.
So someone asked AI to make up an entire cast for a live-action Coraline movie.
Coraline is honestly one of the scariest kids movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, so first, Mr. Babinski will be played by Sacha Baron Cohen, Miss Forcible will be played by Helen Mirren, Miss Spink will be played by Judi Dench, and Wybie will actually be played by Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet does look like an older Wybie.
I know, then Coraline's father and other father will be played by Ed Helms. Her mother and other mother will be played by Angelina Jolie. The cat will be voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. And finally, Coraline will be played by McKenna Grace.
I have to say that would be a pretty legendary cast.
I think it's kind of spot on.
It is. McKenna Grace, though, is blonde. So I guess
Right, but she did go brunette/black hair for Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's
Short.
right, huh?
The short curly hair.
Oh, I could see it.
Yeah.
I feel like her or Jenna Ortega would be good.
Yeah, that would be good too.
But I could see McKenna Grace being more in the running.
I thought Ed Helms was good because like the whole piano playing and singing.
Yeah.
I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, Ed Helms would do great.
Okay, so moving on, I want to talk about a study that is about something that a lot of people do that is kind of looked down upon.
Okay. I feel like these studies always make people feel better about themselves, unless they're like super smart or something like that. But it usually helps the people like me who have bad handwriting or something like that, something negative that turns out good.
So scientists did a study that found that people who take naps are actually smarter than people who don't take naps.
Well, that sucks for me because I don't take naps.
Yeah, so the study was done by multiple colleges and they studied hundreds of thousands of people who napped and didn't nap. And they actually found that the people who napped actually had larger brains than the people who didn't nap at all.
Wait, so they actually found that they all had larger brains?
Yeah, so not only did they find that the people who napped had larger brains, but they had better memory and better reaction time. And as you get older, the more you nap, it actually decreases the aging of your brain by 6 years. So technically, nobody can say that napping is bad because it's proven to be good.
I don't know why this happens. No matter how hard I try, I can never take naps. I sit there and I'm just closing my eyes and it's just darkness and I just get up. I can't stay asleep.
Yeah, isn't that so weird how people can nap and people can't nap? Like, it's just one or the other. They can't, it's no in between. It's like either you nap or you don't.
Yeah, and people that can nap usually can nap anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
they could sleep in a classroom, they can sleep on a couch, they could sleep in a sofa bed, they could sleep anywhere that is like remotely comfortable to them and they're just out.
Yeah.
But like for me, like you can't catch me falling asleep unless I'm super comfortable.
I mean, I feel like you can't even take a nap if you're in like the most comfortable bed.
Yeah, that's true. I could be sitting on my bed all day and not take a nap.
Yeah.
Just be like wide awake.
Okay, so on to the next thing. I know before I've told you about like movie parallels. And there's another crazy one.
Oh, someone's getting ripped off. Let's see who it is.
So did you see how the first Avengers movie actually copied the story of an animated kids movie?
So what kids movie is that?
Okay, so we all remember the first Avengers movie. There's this big battle in this big city, which happens to be New York, and a portal opens up in the sky because there's a beam that shoots off the Avengers Tower that opens this portal that brings a giant army into New York, and the heroes have to defeat the army, but the only way to defeat the army is to close the portal, and when they do, all the army drops dead.
Right, that happens in Avengers 1.
Right, and a year before the Avengers movie came out, there was another animated kids movie that came out where the same exact thing happened, and it was Phineas and Ferb across the second dimension. And in this movie, we see a big battle in a big city against a massive army. And this army is coming out of a portal in the sky because there's a beam shooting off of Doofenshmirtz's tower. And the only way they could defeat this army was to close the portal and all the army drops dead. Literally the same exact thing happens in that movie.
I had no idea. That is unbelievable. I guess it is a common thing. I mean,
It's crazy how close it is though.
it is crazy.
Like, I get it. They probably were produced and filmed different times, right? Because it was only a year before.
Yeah.
But it is crazy how close in comparison it is.
Either Phineas and Ferb did it too simply, right?
Right.
And then the Avengers were just like, yeah, this is the easy way to do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
Where, like, say if they had, in Phineas and Ferb, they knew this is an easy way
Yeah.
to have villains, right? And just end it. And then the Avengers also knew, like, oh, this is kind of like an easy way to just end it, too. Like, it is kind of like a cop-out. Like, oh, yeah, this is destroy the portal.
It's crazy. It's the same exact thing. They destroy the beam that's shooting the portal.
Yeah.
And they all just drop dead.
It is a very funny parallel. That is crazy.
Yeah, so moving on, I want to talk about something that we've talked about a little bit before, but it's actually the Mandela Effect. And some crazy stuff has been going on with this.
Yeah, there's some things on the podcast that have been really disturbing to talk about. And the Mandela Effect really makes me think about life. Like, it really keeps you up at night sometimes. Like, it really bugs me.
So did you see the lady that actually proved the Mandela Effect is a government experiment?
So she was able to prove this.
Yeah, so one of the most popular Mandela effects is the Fruit of the Loom Mandela Effect, where everybody remembers there being a cornucopia on the logo of Fruit of the Loom clothing, but apparently there's not. And this lady was super convinced that there used to be a cornucopia on the logo, but Fruit of the Loom came out and said that they've never had a cornucopia, basically just calling this lady crazy. And Fruit of the Loom even has a post of all the past logos they had all the way back to like 1893. And basically they're trying to prove that they've never had a cornucopia on their logo. But then someone came out and they actually have photo proof of this, that they found a piece of clothing in their closet with a cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom logo. And then after this, people did more digging and they actually found newspaper articles talking about Fruit of the Loom and how there's a cornucopia around it.
Wait, so this is like the first Mandela Effect to really be confirmed?
Yeah, then they literally found government documents of the Fruit of the Loom company mentioning a cornucopia, showing that the cornucopia has been a part of the company. So they can't say it's never existed. And since this lady has been able to prove this Mandela Effect wrong, people now think that the government has been using the Mandela Effect to try to see how much history they could erase without the population knowing.
The government might come after you now for saying that.
Dude, that is scary.
Yeah.
That is crazy, though. To see to the extent that Fruit of the Loom will go to make sure that the cornucopia never existed. Like, they posted their logos all the way back, 1893, I think it was. Nor cornucopia, right? But this person was able to find clothing, Fruit of the Loom clothing, with a cornucopia.
It's one of those things where it's like you can try to look into it more.
Yeah.
And you could end up dead. Or you just turn your head and you pretend like you just never heard it.
But it's crazy. Like, the newspaper articles, they literally say Fruit of the Loom is a cornucopia that's filled with like apples and grapes and stuff.
I mean, that's how I remember it.
They're saying that in these old newspaper articles.
Yeah.
And then there's a newspaper article that like talks about Fruit of the Loom, I think. It mentions it.
Yeah.
And the headline says like cornucopia company or something like that. Isn't that crazy?
So let me ask you this. In your opinion, or I shouldn't say in your opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think that people are trying to say about this whole phenomenon? Like, why is this happening? What's the benefit for the government to do this?
Okay, so
allegedly, what people are saying.
What people are saying is that they're trying to test how much history they could erase and basically gaslight us to make us forget things.
I see. So it's just a little test.
It's kind of like a little test.
Like, they think it's like an innocent test where they can just to kind of test the waters.
Right. So they're trying to see to what extent can they go to see how much they can erase without us knowing. Wow. That's what people are saying. That's what people are saying.
We don't condone, or we don't think that. We don't think that.
Okay, what other people are theorizing,
okay,
is that Fruit of the Loom is doing this as a marketing scheme.
Oh.
And that there was a cornucopia, but they're doing this whole gaslight marketing scheme where everybody's like talking about Fruit of the Loom, right? So it makes people obviously Google search Fruit of the Loom, Fruit of the Loom.
Gosh,
right?
That is smart.
It's smart.
We are here now talking about Fruit of the Loom.
So technically free marketing.
Man, they're out here with their smart marketing campaigns.
It's kind of like when I talked about Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right?
We fell into the trap.
Yeah.
We just fell right into it.
Just what people are saying. Just what people are saying. I am not agreeing nor denying.
Well, yeah.
Thank you for listening.
All right, guys, if you made it this far on the podcast, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're new to the channel, please smash the subscribe button, hit the like button. Also, comment maybe what's your favorite part of the podcast, what you want to hear about next. If you want us to talk about certain topics, let us know so we know that we're talking about things that you like. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on TikTok, and we'll see you guys next Sunday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
We'll see you on the TikTok.
God bless you guys. See ya.
Love ya.